Sorry. Okay. Should have asked that first. Okay. It is 5:32, and I want to respect everyone's time since there's a lot of things going on tonight. This is a special meeting of the City Council called by Mayor Josh Garcia, who is with us today. Mayor, if you want to come in, Councilmember Gus-Smith is on Zoom right now, if folks are okay with that. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 5:30. We are being recorded. We are live streamed on the city's Boxcast. We are also on Holyoke Public Media. And I will call the roll first because there's not a clerk. It's me. I was going to do the pledge after the roll call. So Anderson Burgos.
Here.
Bartley. Devine.
Here.
Givner.
Here.
Graney.
Here.
Jordan. McGrath Smith.
Here.
Murphy Ramboletti's here. Ocasio.
Here.
I. Rivera.
Here.
J. Rivera.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
And Bacon.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless the city of Holyoke and the United States of America.
There we go.
And the
And all
city
its people.
council.
And the city council. All right. So this is a special meeting. And we do have an item that is laid on the table. Is there, oh, I'm sorry. Please hold. Jeffrey reminded me. I would entertain a motion to take a roll call vote that for the purposes of this meeting would be applicable to all motions to receive, to refer items to committee, remove items from the table, place items on the table, package items together, comply with items, or suspend the rules unless there is an objection.
So moved.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thank you. So there is an item laid on the table, item number 1. Do I hear a motion for that?
Madam President, I wonder if we could take up all the items, 1 through 10, I believe it is, and if anybody needs to speak on special ones, I think one counselor may have some questions on number 5.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
So the motion has been made and seconded to take items 1 through 10 as a package under discussion.
So, point of order,
Yes, just make sure. Yeah.
it's on.
Oh, couldn't hear you.
Don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Yes.
So, if we do this, does that mean we would not be voting on each item individually?
If that's the case, I believe that would be how that goes.
Okay, so I'll be voting against that.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilor Bacon?
Thank you, Madam President. I just think we should go in regular order.
Okay.
There's very dissimilar items on the agenda.
Okay, so we can vote on that. Sure, Councilor Graney.
Madam President, I think that these are individual things, and I think we should take them up individually, and I think that the people that are watching on TV would appreciate that, too.
Okay, sounds good.
Madam President,
Yes,
I'll just
Councilor
take
Devine.
back my motion.
Oh.
It's not worth it.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Great. Onward then. So, item 1 laid on the table. Is there a motion? We're joined by Councilor Bartley. Hello.
Hey.
A motion to take up item number 1?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to take item 1 off the table, and that, I'll just read it, is Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order that there be and is hereby appropriated a transfer of $150,000 as follows from captains, dispatchers, and the QUINN bill to claims and damages. Recommended that the order be referred to City Council without recommendation. So,
Motion to pass the first reading? Or
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And Madam President, my
Yes.
understanding from previous meetings is that certain counselors wanted this be taken out of the Holyoke Police Department budget, and that's exactly what it's taken out of. So I would like to just explain that, and that's the reason for the $150,000 in claims and damages.
Okay, thank you. Is there other discussion? Counselor Bartley?
Yeah, just what's the claim, Madam President? Does the president know? I mean, what's the?
So this, if you remember, this was laid on the table to reconsider the votes. There are certain things that we had discussed in executive session. This is the order that is related to those items.
Can I follow up?
Absolutely.
I'm just asking. Are you aware of a complaint or a lawsuit or a petition? Or are we expecting that this is going to be a partial payment for something? Because I'm not aware of a specific lawsuit that's been filed, because I haven't seen it. So, but if you have knowledge of it,
Well,
Without
I
going into
can't really.
well, without going into the specifics, I just
Sure. How do I answer this without going into specifics? The items that we discussed in executive session related to
Yep. The settlement.
settlements that need to be appropriated, and that was what we discussed at the last two executive sessions related to a specific
can I
matter.
just follow up with that. And so that's what I thought it was. And so, and I won't say anything. If I do, you just say shut up.
Maybe I'll say be quiet.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have not seen anything specific. I know in general terms what this is about,
Okay.
but I haven't even seen a proffer. I haven't seen anything. So for us to just do this without any kind of a formal lawsuit or anything, we had the discussion, and I get it. But for me just to do this without any other basis, I'm a little surprised that this. It feels like we're ahead of it too much. So I guess I'd want to see something, whether in executive session or not, something before me. So that's my position. Thanks, and I'll cut it. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Councillor Jordan's joined us in the audience. Thank you. Hi. Councillor Bacon, and then Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you. For my part, if we're going to be making a payment to claims and damages with the public money, it should be reported out in the proper time, and the public should be aware of how the public money is being spent. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Sullivan?
So that was pretty much my question as well, maybe to Attorney Bissonnette.
Sure.
At what point would this be out of executive, where the public would be made aware of what this money was spent for?
Attorney Bissonnette, are you?
Good evening.
Hi.
Yes, once matters in executive session have reached a conclusion, those minutes are to be released at the earliest possible opportunity. I would note that this is an appropriation not really for a specific settlement, but to fund a claims and damages account for which there are several matters pending, one of which has been discussed extensively 3 times in executive session now. So I would hope that the council has come to an understanding. The alteration in this order is that there is an express request that funding come from the police department. People may gather whatever conclusions they wish from that, but that was expressed to the law department and to the mayor, and the mayor changed the order at that request. So that's why it's before you tonight, because if it doesn't pass, these funds as of midnight on the 30th revert to free cash, and you will see them again next spring, I suppose.
So Attorney Bissonette, I understand the part about the minutes of executive meetings, which is a whole different topic. But I mean, if we approve this tonight, this $150,000 transfer, at what point is the public made aware of how it was spent? And this is, we all know this is specifically for one settlement, not a group. So at what point would the public be made aware of what this transfer was for?
Also, when the case is completed, the settlement will be filed with the city. It would also be available through the clerk's office and a copy provided to the council.
Okay, thank you.
There may be, I might add, I'm not certain what additional financial orders may be needed to complete this particular case. So it may well be that there are other opportunities to discuss this going further. I know this is in response to a specific request for part of it to be funded from the police budget.
Yes, yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Graney?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that there's no NDA here, Counselor Bissonette. No non-disclosure agreement. This is going to go to the public, right?
Attorney
yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yes. There are no longer, just as a matter of, I guess, public knowledge now, as part of the state police board now that views all misconduct complaints, there is a provision that no longer allows municipalities to shield these type of settlements that involve law enforcement agencies from the public. So they are subject to full disclosure now.
I understand that. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Rivera?
To my understanding, with the creation of the post, a lot of this information is available to the public via the state website, and it becomes public knowledge once everything is closed. The post themselves post it on the state website. Until it's posted on the post website, I think, or at least until they get the information, everything else becomes on pause. So I think even if we were to release something or when it's done, we still have to probably wait until post does what they do first, so that then we can do what we're going to do with regards to that, because they are the actual state agency in charge of a lot of police matters around that kind of stuff. But thank you.
Counselor Devine?
Yeah, to Attorney Bissonette, if this isn't passed tonight, are we being made liable for future lawsuits or anything? I don't mean to sound like a threat, but I'm just trying to get information so everybody can take a good vote.
I can't always predict when or why people would sue a municipality. In this case, the city has been made aware of pending litigation. There is a complaint that has been filed, and the city is attempting to negotiate that claim, as we always do. In this case, we have the potential for a settlement. The parameters have been discussed in mediation, and we're hoping to move forward at some point soon, having determined that the likely amount of settlement will be far less than the potential expense if this case were to go to trial. So in that case, I think we have reached that point, I think, where it would behoove the city to be able to move forward and kind of get closure on this end. It's been difficult to, let me say that Lisa has done an extraordinary job in holding this at bay for this long. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
One more question. How many votes are necessary to pass this?
This particular transfer, because it occurs within 2 months of the end of the fiscal year by state law, requires a majority. Otherwise, an interdepartmental transfer in the normal course of business would be 2/3, but DOR has confirmed that it's a majority in this case.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have Counselor Graney and then Counselor McGrath-Smith.
Just quickly, Attorney Bissonnette, why is it going to capital stabilization in particular?
No, we're on item 1.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think this is going into claims and accounts, Mr. Granny.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong page.
Yeah, this is the one that was on the table. It's on the first page, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
That was my question for number 4. Thank you.
Good, I can
Counselor-
get ready.
I have Counselor McGrath-Smith and then Counselor Jordan.
Through the chair to Solicitor Bissonnette, because we're voting tonight to move this into a line item, does that mean that we will then also have to vote at when the settlement is finalized to move it out of that account towards that settlement? Or does it give carte blanche for that money to be used for any settlement of any kind?
As I understand it, that is funding the account until there is a settlement. I mean, we don't have a
Separate vote
written
be needed
settlement.
to then move it to the settlement once the settlement is finalized?
No. No, as long as it's in the claims and damages account, there's sufficient funds there. As I said, there will likely be an additional order coming through.
All set? Okay. Counselor Jordan?
Yeah, I was listening carefully and interestingly to the remainder of the conversation, but I just want to circle back on the votes required. These are appropriated funds in one department going to another appropriated purpose in another department. That's a 2/3 majority vote. These are already
Not in the
appropriated
last 2
funds.
months of the fiscal year. Again, not in the last 2 months of the fiscal year.
Yeah, but we have section 49 of our charter that specifically requires that.
Again, state law. I'll refer you to it as it supersedes any of the financial orders in the charter have been superseded by state law.
What's your law citation? Because I'd also like to cite to chapter 44, section 33B too.
I believe that the council was sent a memo on this earlier from Attorney Mantaleski.
I don't recall a memo from anyone on this issue. We've had plenty of transfers that came in the last 2 months of a fiscal year. We have Charter 49, Section 49. It's crystal clear. Any appropriated funds require 2/3 vote. And then Chapter 44, Section 33B as well, also requires it. And then we also have Section 22, which we'll talk about that in a minute too, if need be. So I mean, this is as old as the hills.
Attorney Bissonnette, is there anything in response to this?
No, I'm going to go with what DOR says is the rule, which is the last 2 months. In order to clear the books, only a majority is required for interdepartmental transfers. And my position is that that rule overrides anything in our charter because it relates to the finances.
Can we have a copy of that?
Sure.
That-
Get your copy, same place I got the last copy you asked for last week.
Okay.
Right, yeah, which was related to a different law. But, I don't know, does our assistant have a copy of this memo?
Of the one from Attorney Mantaleski from,
Supposedly, yeah, there's something from Attorney Mantaleski saying that our charter's overridden by
I mean, I could have Jeffrey look. I'm not going to expect him to like have it
Right, exactly.
waiting for us
We
right
weren't-
now, but
Right, we weren't prepared apparently for that, but we have there's a state law specifically on these transfers. Chapter 4433B and our charter. So
So I'm gonna keep.
I think A applies potentially too, but, all right.
So I have Counselor Bacon next, and then Counselor Devine.
Thank you, Madam President. So what I would like to note is that we took this up at our last meeting. It failed to gain 9 votes, so it did not pass. And that is why the motion was then made to table it, to take it back up tonight. So at our last meeting, it required 9 votes. So logically, it would require 9 votes at this meeting. Thank you.
I'm sorry, was that an 8-3 vote?
Yes. And then we
Last time I
reconsider.
looked, 8 was better than 2/3 of 11.
It's of the
So it would
body.
have passed under that rule as well?
No.
No?
It didn't, it was deemed as, through the chair.
Sure.
It was deemed that it did not pass because it did not achieve the required threshold of the 2/3. Thank you.
And then if you recall, we reconsidered our action on it, which is, and put the whole thing back on the table.
Right.
So we're back at first reading here and
Right.
Okay.
doing our thing.
All right. So I'm gonna go. Counselor Devine had her hand up next.
Yeah, I'm just, at our last meeting, didn't we get in legal form from Attorney Mantaleski about the 2/3 vote of those present?
Well, that.
Was that something else?
Yeah.
That's on ordinance
Ordinances.
adoption.
Yeah.
Through the chair.
That was for ordinance changes,
Okay,
I believe.
Thank you.
All right.
On the motion.
On the motion.
Which is to what, pass first reading?
So yes, that we did do that, and now I will entertain
Pass the second reading?
motion to pass the second reading.
Second.
And let me make sure. Oh, please hold. I've got my roll call. There it is. Okay, so the motion to pass the second reading, and the Tessa will call the roll. Anderson Burgos? If you're
Yes.
voting yes, you're voting to approve
Yes.
the transfer.
Can I just point out one thing?
Yes,
Madam President?
Counselor.
Yeah, thank you. I want to cite also, just so we're all crystal clear, get this on the record, Section 22 of our charter has the following provision. It says, any ordinance, order, resolution, or vote involving the appropriation or expenditure of any money to an amount which may exceed $200 shall require for its passage the affirmative votes of a majority of all the members of the city council. Every such ordinance, order, resolution, or vote shall be read twice, which we're about to do, with an interval of at least 3 days between the 2 readings, before being finally passed. And the vote at its final passage shall be taken by a roll call, provided, however, that upon and after the written recommendation of the mayor and the council may pass such ordinance, order, resolution, or vote on the same day by a 2/3 yea and nay vote. And that is also citing the special acts of Chapter 189 of the Special Acts of 1992. And let me also say, I don't know what the current rule citation, but when this was drafted with assistance of law department back in 2008, it was Rule 35 at the time. This exact what I just read is in our rules too, just so we're all crystal clear. And I'll also cite, there's 2 legal opinions on this topic. One dated June 14th, 2002 from Solicitor Fitzgibbons. It's opinion number 2002-12. Second citation, there's one dated June 17th from Solicitor Ed Mitnick on this topic. It's opinion written 1993-24. So if we vote on both readings same night, 2/3 vote. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Bacon?
Thank you. As a point of order, would the chair rule whether we need 9 votes for this vote, please?
If you want me, to do that.
I just want to be consistent
Yeah.
from one meeting to the next.
No, so do I.
Thank
So the point of order was asked if we need 9 votes or 7, and I'm feeling like
We asked Counselor Bissonnette.
well, no one's listening to Counselor Bissonnette. No one agrees. So,
Listening to him.
well, no, that all right. I used the wrong words. No one agrees. Well, people don't agree with Counselor Bissonnette. So I didn't really go to law school, but I have read our rules. Counselor McGivern did this a lot. So like I just feel like this isn't any different. Counselor Givner, did you have your hand up?
Thank you, Madam President. So in an email 10 days ago from our administrative assistant, there was the 2/3 majority vote ordinance item from Attorney Manileski. I'm looking at it now, and it does say that passage of ordinance requiring 2/3 vote of the City Council unless otherwise mandated by the Mass General Laws or the Charter. So
That's for an ordinance.
right, that's specifically for our ordinance, but I've also been looking online at whether or not state laws trump the municipal laws, and I'm finding mostly things that say that they do. So I'm hearing both sides here. I'm hearing that we have, city rules that we've created, and I'm hearing that, we have state laws that are in place. I'm hearing pretty clearly that it's in the last 2 months of our fiscal year, and it sounds like the state laws would override our, local charter to make decisions. That's what I'm hearing from our city attorney. So I have a tendency to believe that this is a professional who's providing us information that is intended to be in our best interest as a city. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
If
Counselor
I
Bacon.
could just
For the
follow up,
fourth time.
because my question is on the floor as a point of order.
Yep.
At our last meeting, which was in the same window of time, the same vote was ruled that it did not pass because it did not achieve a 2/3 vote. So now I'm feeling like we have one set of rules at one meeting, and then we have another special meeting, and now the rules are changed for this meeting. Both meetings occurred in the same window of time, and I would respectfully request the chair to make a determination and let us know what the chair finds. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Israel Rivera.
We're at this point again. We're pulling straws. There's different places where things are being pulled in certain directions. Things are being cited just because we're not in agreement as a council, right? I don't feel like this is actually productive for us as a council, and I don't think it's productive for us as a community. If we have a city solicitor that has a particular opinion, and it wasn't brought up in the prior meeting, it could have been a mistake. Not saying that it was intentional or a lack of maybe not paying attention in the day or time or whatever it is. But ultimately, where it comes down to is this person or these particular, we have people in particular roles that have particular professions that we hire for, and they get approved. Some of them, or most of them, I think, or hopefully they get approved through us, right? Because that's what most counselors fight for. And when you approve them, you're kind of putting that faith within these particular solicitors or employees. We're splitting hairs here, and we're going to get nowhere, and there's business to be done. Ultimately, yes, there are charter rules. There are rules in our charters, but technically, state supersedes unless we are making something stronger, right?
Right.
Quote unquote. But unless that is possibly impeding the process of a community to move forward, because that can be argued too as well. If you're impeding the process to move forward, then if there's a way out through the state level, then that is the purpose of that. In case a community gets in its own way, as it seems to do on a regular basis. Just kind of wanted to clarify and point that out. Thank you.
I have Counselor Graney and then Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Just quickly, Madam Chair, Attorney Bissonette, if we appropriate this money and a majority vote and we're wrong, it's a misappropriation of funds and it took a 2/3 vote, what happens to that money if we were wrong in appropriating this money at that point? Does it still go? Does that money still go? Or does it come back to where we started again? Because if we do the wrong thing, that money is supposed to come back to where we were. That's my opinion. Not a legal opinion, but it's logic.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Yeah, I want to read off. So it says here, every such ordinance, order, resolution, or vote shall be read twice with an interval of at least 3 days between the two readings before being finally passed. And the vote at its final passage shall be taken by roll call, provided, however, that upon and after written recommendation of the mayor, the city council may pass such ordinance, order, resolution, or vote on the same day by 2/3 yea and nay vote. It's not the same day.
Yep. On the motion,
Second.
Counselor Givner, second that.
Okay. Well, first, I guess you guys want me to weigh in on this, right? Oh my God, no matter what I say, half of you are going to be pissed at me, half of you aren't, so it is what it is, right? But like, I guess, I mean, I came into this meeting thinking that this wasn't the first reading, and I think that's where I get confused, and I think that's where I remember Counselor McGivern back in the day, like, I remember those arguments. So maybe I'm going crazy, but I thought that this would not be the first reading. And I actually, I believe that it's important for us to take the legal advice of someone who's been looking at what the state is passing. And so I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say a majority of the body, because I was under the impression this is not our first reading.
A point of order.
Sure.
We just took a vote to pass the first reading.
Right.
We literally just did that.
5 minutes ago.
Right.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Guys, okay.
Listen, I don't interrupt you, Juan.
Well,
you're my friend.
all right,
I'm
everyone.
just saying, we literally just took a vote to pass the first reading.
So this is, yeah.
So, I mean, so this is the 2 readings in the same night. It's crystal clear it's 2/3 vote. Mike has not, I respect Mike a lot, and he knows that. He's not cited to anything, but except for a memo that was Jane Mantelesky's, who I respect tremendously, was talking about ordinances. So he's not cited to anything. I've never heard this 2/3 majority thing in the last 2 months of a fiscal year. I mean, literally, this is the first I've ever heard of that.
Well, yeah.
But so but who cares? We passed the first reading tonight, Madam President.
Okay.
You've got to recognize that.
I do.
Now we're on the second reading.
Sure.
So you can't have
Okay,
the
then it's,
ruling.
all right, then it's 9. Great, let's go. Roll call vote
We
on the
also made a
motion.
On the motion.
and seconded to stop it and no debate. So
Thank
now
you.
we'll take a vote.
Thanks, everyone. Great, you guys are so fun.
Yep.
All right. Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Counselor Bartley.
No. I'm sorry. No.
Counselor Devine.
Yes.
Counselor Givner.
Yes.
Counselor Graney.
No.
Counselor Jordan.
No.
Counselor McGrath Smith is probably not on because it is 6:06, but all right. Yep. Right from Letty, yes. Ocasio.
No.
I Rivera.
It doesn't matter.
But you gotta vote. That or don't. Forget it.
No,
Sounds good.
It does matter.
Actually, the
Yes,
rules
to vote.
require everyone to vote
Does
if
matter.
present.
What do you mean? For real?
You can't abstain because
I'm not abstaining. I
I
said
know.
it doesn't matter.
Can you just vote? Can you just vote? Y'all are killing me. It's 6:07.
All right,
Can you
all right.
vote?
Yes.
I don't care how you vote.
Yes, yes.
J. Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
No.
Oh, 7 votes, right?
Tessa, did you
did it
vote?
with me?
Tessa, did you vote?
Yep.
You did.
I voted.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently that doesn't pass. I guess we don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully, maybe we can start listening to our law department. I don't know. Anyway, onward. Communications. Letter from the Mass, item number 2. Letter from the Mass Division of Local Services, DLS, 2024 free cash certification. Hi. What?
A motion to receive?
Juan has something to say. You didn't see him.
I really don't have anything to say, and I hope people are watching. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, thank you. Okay, great. That was the motion, Counselor? Sorry, I missed it.
To receive.
Motion to receive, and you seconded it? Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome.
Could we send a copy to, well, do I dare say copy? But I would like to send a, just
To be
receive it, but
discussed?
to finance. 'cause
I can
it
tell
would-
you right now, as chairman of finance, and I've told Councilor Jordan this, I don't take up copies.
All right,
If that
then-
goes to a regular council
Okay,
meeting,
Then how
then
about
that's where it
receive,
goes.
not a copy, receive it and send to finance?
look at that.
So we can have follow-up with the auditor, just ask questions about our free
And I'll
cash.
decide
Okay.
to take it up.
Would you be
Okay.
okay with that?
Refer to finance, receive. Motions to receive and refer to finance. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Any opposed?
No.
That goes to finance. Item number 3, from Mayor Joshua Garcia. Free cash transfer requests.
Motion to receive and send to finance.
Motion to receive and send to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, that goes to finance. Item number 4, filed by Councilor Devine. Ordered that there be and is hereby a transfer from free cash, a sum of $246,775. From free cash to capital stabilization. Councilor Devine.
Yeah, just a question to Attorney Bissonnette. The letter, the number 3, letter from Mayor Joshua Garcia, FY 2024, free cash transfer request. These are all 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I want to know is, since you sent the letter from Mayor Garcia to finance, what happens to all of those? Because those are free cash transfers. That's to Attorney Bissonnette.
Okay.
They're eligible, thank you, they're eligible for appropriation now. Free cash has been certified, the council, the mayor can recommend, as you read in the charter, on a 2/3 vote, the council can pass these orders through all their stages this evening and then approve their adoption.
All right.
You know, the other point I would make is, given the time frame, this is, I think it's 1.1 million in appropriations from free cash. That will revert most likely as the 150 that was just defeated will all go back to free cash for next year. And if the process works out the same, you will not be seeing any ability to move that money till this time next year.
Motion.
Suspend the rules to allow the mayor to speak?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mayor. Hi.
Thank you so much, counselors. Just to clarify, the letter you sent to finance was just communication from me summarizing the following orders after that. So it's just a communication from me, just kind of giving you a general summary of what the following orders are in your agenda are for. So,
Thank you.
and also if I can just speak to it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Absolutely. Do you want to sit?
No, it's
Okay.
this is council business.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
I like
Go
to
for it.
respect.
We have an
it as
open
much as I
table
can.
right over
Yeah.
there. Come right in.
I just before I dive into, and I know it's the end of the fiscal year. Here we are now. We're about to celebrate the new fiscal year coming Monday. There was a lot of hard work to get to this point, and how much I appreciate folks coming to a special meeting on this day and time to, try to get through this window, this last bit of financial business before it gets into research. Just from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate that. So the following orders in front of you, obviously, as you can see from the free cash certification letter, a little over $1 million was certified of unspent cash from 2023. I've put together a summary of investments of that free cash so that it's accessible. Coming July 1, if we don't move those dollars from what I like to call the free cash cloud, then that funds they're no longer accessible. It won't be until the next round of certification, which I'm hoping will be by the fall time and not at this time of the year, and certainly we can talk about that. So you'll see the $427,347 is the bulk of it. Just so that you're aware, before any revenue accounts were created to receive that funding, when the opioid settlement took place, that fell in the general fund, now converted into free cash, and so we're just looking to put that in the appropriate account as expected by the settlement agreement of the opioid funding, similar to what we did when marijuana funds were caught in this free cash cloud earlier on, and we moved it to the appropriate account. OPEB and general stabilization, I think, is pretty straightforward. The $246,000, we have a little over $700,000, I think $740,000, Tanya, currently in that capital stabilization account. This $246,000 plus will bring it to a little over $900,000, closer to $1 million. And coming August or fall time, there'll be some orders coming in front of you, and we can discuss how we want to make those one-time capital-related investments. And then you'll also notice under mayor contracted services line, $100,000, very similar to what we've done in the past. The council has been, and I appreciate, have been supportive when we've done studies. We brought in consultants to help evaluate things, and I've even summarized a little bit of the things that we want to do, and I'd be happy to answer questions if you have any questions on it. So it gives us a little flexibility to continue some work that we've all kind of been talking about, and I think the police chief search is one of them. The committee has talked about bringing on board a consultant, so just access to some funding to get some work, some of that work moving forward. So that's a general overview. Happy to answer some of the questions. Again, the $299, the police cruisers, it was put in appropriate in the budget in the chief's version. I cut it. It was brought up in the budget hearings. Why did I cut it? And at that point, I described that we wanted to treat it like a capital. Hopefully, with free cash get certified, we could visit it then so that we don't raise through taxation. So that's where that's coming from. And Captain Cruz is online, ready to speak to it if anybody has any questions. And yeah, that's the general overview. I'll be here on standby if I can clarify anything for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am?
Does anyone, Councilor Graney?
Yeah, just quickly, once again, why to capital stabilization? Why to that particular fund?
Mayor, would you like to, go for it.
Yep. So there's a few reasons. One, and I've heard from counselors, and counselors are absolutely correct. Regular, often described as emergency stabilization. That's last resort. We try not to touch that as much as possible. And those are things that the rating agencies do look at and often measure when they give us our score. When we did create the capital stabilization, there's a lot of activity, money going in, money going out. When we talk about those one-time investments, when we did create it and we maintained our bond rating, those meetings with the rating agencies, they looked very favorably toward having that separate from regular stabilization. So it's just smart budget financing the way that they look at it when we're working together to mitigate liabilities for the city. So
that's completely flexible, the capital stabilization.
No, I have to come to the council for any monies coming out of there. So it's not, there's no flexibility there at all. I can't just go in there and spend. So so with this transfer, it'll bring that account, I think 960 million, imagine that. 960,000, Tanya. And so coming August, in our budget process, I did get capital requests from departments. I have a running list. And last year, around this time, I brought like 30 agenda items forward, and I heard some frustration around that, some last minute, and I didn't want to do that again, so I figured let's put it in capital stabilization so that we're not cramming at the last minute. Coming August, we'll submit those orders, and the fall time, we can, have that conversation as to what you want to support, what you don't want, ask those important questions on those capital requests.
All set, Counselor? Counselor Bacon?
Thanks. This is a quick one. So, you know how they give us recommendations as to how much we should have in the emergency stabilization fund?
Yes.
I'm wondering, and I might have missed it in the report, if our auditors make any recommendations relative to capital stabilization about how much or targets, or do they remain silent on that?
So, and mark me if I'm wrong, so what I'm hearing is like a percentage amount from free cash to go to the different reserves?
Right.
Yeah. So, in our financial policies manual, we do have outlined a percentage of where, and obviously that can change, and it's currently in committee, and I think it says in the policies manual 10% into X account and 20% into X account. And so those, certainly we want to get ratified and make it law. What I did with this round, instead of, there is a commitment to invest something in those accounts, so we're not doing nothing. But the recommendations in that policies, the percentage, I think is like 20% for capital. If I'm not mistaken, when the last I read it, I was reading it today actually, 20% of $1 million would be 200,000. Well, I guess a little more than that we're actually putting in there, so we're actually meeting it. But
Okay. Thank you. I'm good.
So
I can go look at that again. Thanks.
and
Any
then the
other-
OPEB.
Oh, sorry.
There's not a in the financial policies manual. It does say a percentage of free cash when it's certified go to OPEB. Again, there are needs. We are putting 5,000, keeping it on our radar. We want to get in the habit to eventually invest much more aggressively. Although we're not keeping to the percentage recommended in our policies manual, we're putting something in there. So.
Thank you.
Any other Counselor Jordan?
Yeah, Mayor, you and I had an opportunity to have a conversation about in 4 and 8 combined. Obviously, 8, I'm very much supportive. I'm very supportive of most of these tonight. But relative to item 4, did we get clarification? I know you were looking into it, and I was straight out at work after we talked. I wasn't able to get the follow-up.
No worries.
What was the final verdict on the capital stabilization? Is that falling under, because when we created it, we knew it was like the other stabilization funds. And you had a great idea of creating this. It would be 2/3 vote to have it put in or removed. Now, is this being considered one of those special purpose ones? And would it be the majority vote, 2/3 vote? Can you help us with that?
And Mike can chime in too. Mike and I did look into that, Counselor. So it is the special revenue. So it's that rule about majority versus 2/3.
Yep.
However, I did ask Mike, and Mike, feel free to chime in, but he did confirm, what if we were to establish our own local ordinance that we change anything out of capital stabilization to a 2/3 vote, and we can certainly do that.
Okay.
And one of the, I was trying to, and we'll talk about it here. So that financial policies manual, and that we want to codify eventually, and it's currently in committee, and you have the flexibility to recommend the changes to that. I think there would be a good place for us to put that language there. So once it's codified, it becomes part of your ordinance that anything out of capital stabilization would be 2/3 vote instead of majority.
You'd be supportive of that?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. And normally those are unanimous anyways. Generally, we're pretty much all on board. It's usually non-controversial. Fix a building, buy some vehicles, whatever that case may be. So, okay. I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Make a motion to pass the first reading on item 4.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to?
Pass the second reading?
Thank you.
Well, okay. Are you?
I was going to say the mayor's already explained it, so it's
Okay.
pretty cut and dry.
So motion's been made and seconded to pass the second reading. I will call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting in favor of the transfer item number 4. Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Devine.
Yep.
Givner.
Yes.
Graney.
No.
Jordan.
Yes.
McGrath Smith. Murphy Romboletti. Yes. Ocasio.
Yes.
I. Rivera.
No.
J. Rivera.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
That you've passed it. 1, 2,
9 to 2.
9, 10 to 2? 10 to 2. Brenna's much faster than me at this, but just means we get to spend more time together. Okay.
Madam President, if we could take up item number 5.
Second.
Sure. Motion's been made and seconded to take up item 5.
Pass
By Counselor Devine, ordered that there be a transfer in fiscal year 24, free cash, a sum of $299,820 as follows, from free cash to police capital outlay vehicle installment payment 6 cruisers, but should that have said?
And if I could make a motion to suspend the rules and have Captain Cruz discuss this.
Motion has been made to and seconded to allow Captain Cruz to speak on this order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good evening, Captain Cruz.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. It's supposed to be 3 cruisers, not 6, according to the chief. He told me that last night. So I don't know why there's 6, but anyways, there's 3 fully marked 2025 cruisers. From my math, it's about 102,000 apiece, with a total of 306,000 is what he told me last night.
Alrighty.
Thank you, I appreciate
And
that.
But there's reasons behind, the cruisers arrive all in black. So we have to paint 4 doors and a roof white. Also, the lettering and the decals that we have to put on each cruiser. There's 2 separate radios that we put in there. There's the HPD radio and the WIMLAC radio, the Western Mass Law Enforcement Channel radio. That also includes all the antennas and the wiring and the installation of each radio, the labor. We put patrol computers in these 3 cruisers. There's a mount, the wiring of the computers, and also the antennas for the computers and the installation. We got equipment and emergency lights in the siren storage unit located in the back of the cruiser, and we have to pay for that installation. We also have the rifle storage, which is a lock and drawing system for the rifle in the rear of the vehicle. We got to pay for that and the installation. Every cruiser has medical bags and emergency equipment. And then we also have to pay for the emergency lighting, which is the strobes, which is in the top of the cruiser, the front of the cruiser, the back of the cruiser, the sides of the cruiser. All the wiring, the harnesses, all that has to be mounted, and then they have to be programmed to the siren system. Keep in mind, we bought 2022s, and there's none left according to Marcotte, so we have to buy 2025. We have to buy 3 of them. And they're not going to be ready until after the spring is the estimation. So we have to order them now. And by the time we get to after the spring, these old cruisers from 2022 are probably going to be out of service if they stay that long.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mayor,
very
did you
much.
want to add something?
Yeah, I was just going to just the corrections here too. When we put the budget together, the chief was estimating 299,000 plus. And then when I put the agenda together and put it out, it was already posted, and I got the call, and he reminded me, well, the price now is 306,000, but it's small. We can transfer something later in front of the council, 5,000 difference there. We can deal with that later. The other thing too is, yeah, you're right. It's I know on the agenda we put 6 cruisers. It's not 6, it's 3. So that was my error again. Just to clarify those points here, where the mistakes happened.
Thank you. Counselor Graney and then Counselor Sullivan.
And just quickly, I'm Obviously, I'm in support of that. We need the cruisers. I was just wondering where the $6,000 comes from, and the mayor just answered that question.
All righty. Okay, Counselor Sullivan and then Counselor Rivera.
So my only question would be, it also says installment payment.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an installment.
Chief, do you want to describe it? I know it was, I think we, Councilor Jennings got some answers to that too. They're not installment payments. Do you want to explain how the payment method works?
My understanding, the way it was explained to me last night, is we're gonna buy them outright, these three. We're not gonna do what we did in the past and lease them. We're just gonna buy these three outright.
Okay, that,
So
to me, that makes,
I don't
that makes
know.
more,
I'm sorry?
no, to me, that makes more sense. If this was installment payment, that would mean there's more to come. But,
No, we're paying them outright.
right, okay, thanks. That answers my question.
That's it. Counselor Izzy Rivera?
Thank you. I think so. I mean, if we're buying them outright, so we're gonna. This is gonna be a common practice moving forward, buying them outright, and it's like we recycle. We go through the cars on a regular basis. It sounds like. So like, what are we doing with the extra cars then? There should be a significant amount of extra cars then, if that's the case. But whatever. I guess I'll vote yes on this because it's needed again. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
The only
Oh,
thing I'd
Counselor
like to-
Bartley?
Sorry.
Oh,
I was just going to amend it for 3 cruisers, not 6.
oh, okay.
Second.
Was that, okay.
Second.
So motion's been made to amend the transfer request to represent 3 cruisers instead of 6. All those in favor?
Aye.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll be the one to say it. $102,000 for a cruiser. Now, I heard all the add-ons, but $102,000 for, this is an SUV, essentially, painted black, with all sorts of lights and fixtures in there. But $102,000, I'm really not understanding how this is even possible, despite what I just heard. That seems incredibly excessive, even from our friends at Marcotte. I know we can't amend these things. I wish we could, maybe just to see 1 or 2, because I'd really like to see what a $102,000 cruiser actually looks like prior to voting for 3 of them. So at this point, I'm going to be the contrarian. I'm not going to vote for a $102,000 cruiser based upon an order that has nothing to back it up other than what I heard. I don't see anything else here. I mean, maybe it was attached somewhere. Maybe I didn't see it somewhere, Madam President, but I didn't see the quote. I take it they went to Marcotte. I don't know if they went on the state website, to the procurement website, to buy something, even if it was a 2024. So we have 22s, so we skipped 23, 24, and we're going to 25. And I hope you heard what the captain said, the acting chief said. We order now and we take delivery in spring of 25, if we order now. That's, I mean, and I appreciate doing this through free cash. I'm glad it's done through free cash. I think it's an appropriate way to do it, but I just don't feel comfortable voting for this at present. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Bacon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If it's known, could the price of the base vehicle be shared with us if the captain knows?
Captain
No,
Cruz, do you know?
I wasn't involved in the negotiations. I basically came into the loop last night, so I can't answer that.
Okay, thank
Sorry.
you.
Okay. Anyone else on the motion? There is no motion. Is there a motion to pass the first reading?
So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes? Yes?
Just, I think one.
Oh,
final
sorry.
question.
I didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
One final
Councilor Rivera.
question for me, because it's through free cash. Now, for the next fiscal budget year, will this be outlined under the police budget?
Mayor, is that?
Yeah, it'll
feels like a
be in
mayor question.
the police budget. I think the capital outlay account. There'll be a capital outlay account, so you'll see that transferred into that account in the police department budget.
So it would be a separate page on the budget sheet for the next year? Or on that same police page?
Yeah, so it'll be on the police department budget. And
Okay.
Tanya had to leave for an emergency, just an FYI.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Greeny.
Yeah, just through the chair to the mayor, maybe you could explain the 102 grand per cruiser.
Yeah, I can't break. So this is where I'm sure Jamie was involved, our procurement director. So I wasn't involved in the procurement process, except I get the number once departments do what they're supposed to do and they bring it forward. That's where it comes from. I don't have the breakdown for you.
State bid list, Mayor.
It's the state bid list, yeah, but I don't have like the documents in front of me reflecting the numbers and the breakdown and what's going where.
Okay.
On the motion.
Motion to pass the second reading?
Motion has been made and seconded to pass the second reading. I'll call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting for the transfer for the 3 cruisers. Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
No.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Greeny,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
McGrath Smith. Oh, that's right. Myself, yes. Ocasio,
Yes.
Izzy Rivera,
No.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Bacon.
Yes.
With that, you've passed it 10-2. Look at me counting faster. All right, thank you.
Motion to take up item number 6?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to take up item number 6, filed by Councilor Devine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Order that there be and is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2025 from fiscal year 2024 free cash sum of $427,347 as follows: from free cash to opioid special revenue.
Motion to pass the first reading?
Motion has been made to pass the first reading. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And the, if I might, the mayor's letter describes $427,347, and I'm not sure if people will have questions for Attorney Bissonnette.
Okay. Councilor Bacon?
Through the chair to the mayor. So our understanding is that through the special revenue account, when this comes in, you'll be able to appropriate the money as you see fit for different programs. And I'm wondering how you see yourself approaching this relative to communication with the council and the public. Thanks.
So I necessarily as I see fit, in accordance with the program guidelines, which I think Bissonnette could probably get more into. I do look forward to put together some sort of a committee to help navigate these things. What ideas, recommendations, and working together on that front. And yeah, any opportunity I can to come back to the council to do an update, an opportunity to solicit some, ideas. If you want to do it in the form of a public meeting and a council meeting, or maybe interest serving on a committee, or just want to share with any form of communication, I'm happy to talk about and discuss.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions or, okay.
Motion to pass the second reading?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass the second reading. I will call the roll. And if you vote yes, you are voting in favor of the transfer for $427,347. Anderson Burgos?
Yes.
Bartley?
No.
Devine?
Yes.
Givner?
Yes.
Greeny,
No.
Jordan,
No.
McGrath Smith, not here. Murphy Ramboletti, yes. Ocasio,
No.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
and Bacon.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to 5. With that, you've passed it? All right. Item
Number 7.
7, thank you. Ordered that there be appropriation by transfer fiscal year 25 from fiscal year 24, free cash, a sum of $5,000 as follows, from free cash to OPEB trust fund. Councilor Devine?
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
Could we take 7, 8, 9, and 10 as a package and pass the first reading?
I'm into that.
I was into that in the beginning.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. So motion's been, sure, who's that? I don't know who that was.
Councilor Rivera.
Hi, Councilor Rivera.
I guess for me is, didn't we try to do that in the beginning, and councilors strongly stated that every item is an individual item?
Yep.
And now it's different? I'm trying to understand where the can someone clarify for me? Because
So I guess, yeah, sure, yeah, since it's a point of order, I'll answer it. The point of order is that before, Councilor Devine made a motion to take all the items on the agenda as a package. That did not pass. That was clearly not what folks wanted to do. Then folks decided they wanted to change to taking things as a package, and so that is the will of the body. If that's what the body wants to do, we haven't voted on it yet. So there's your point of order. That's pretty much straightforward. Yeah, no problem.
On the motion to do that.
On the motion is
Second.
to suspend the rules and take up items 7, 8, 9, and 10 as a package and vote on them all together. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so that still passes. Thank you.
Okay.
I will read the other ones. Item number 8, filed by Councilor Devine, order that there be a transfer in the fiscal year 25 from fiscal year 24 free cash, sum of $20,000 from free cash to stabilization. Item 9, ordered filed by Councilor Devine, ordered that there be a transfer in fiscal 25 from fiscal 24 free cash, sum of $100,000 from free cash to mayor contracted services, ongoing projects and trainings. And item number 10, ordered that there be a transfer from fiscal year 24 free cash, in fiscal year 25 from fiscal year 24 free cash, a sum of $96,708 as follows, from free cash to sewer stabilization. So,
It's retained earnings.
Right.
what? Excuse me?
I don't want.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm literally reading what's in front of me. So, okay, that was the motion to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye. Motion to pass second reading.
There's motions been made and seconded to pass the second reading. I will call the roll. If you're voting in favor.
my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Under discussion, Councilor Jordan.
Yeah, just briefly, Madam President. One is, I just think, again, the mayor deserves commendation relative to contributing, albeit small. We're making baby steps on the OPEB trust fund. I think that's a good thing. The stabilization's a no-brainer. The other 100,000 relative to these important projects is good. And then the sewer fund, just another observation that we ran a surplus of 96,708 in the sewer fund, and we were told that wasn't going to happen. It did happen. These are non-controversial to me because we're running a sewer surplus and we're keeping it in the sewer fund. That's why I supported putting these four together. But obviously, you already saw some of the earlier votes. I can see why people wanted to pull those out of a joint vote.
Great.
But anyways, that's
that it?
These four here. These four should be approved.
Great. Anyone else? Counselor Greeny.
I'll be voting no on these issues because I feel that we should have stuck with the original agenda. It's not that these aren't worthy, I think they are worthy, but I still think that each should have been taken up individually as we originally stated. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Counselor Bartley?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just going to echo what Kevin said. And I do hear what Councilor Grandy said. I normally would take these up individually, but I think these are all admirable transfers and make a lot of sense. I'm not going to go back to agenda item 6 because I was pretty sure we had to have 2/3 on that one, but I know it got 7 votes and we'll leave it there. But these other 4 I think are admirable and I plan on voting yes.
We actually don't need 7 votes on that last one.
My bad.
Thank you.
We need 7, but
Counselor Bacon.
briefly, I'll be brief. I just want to say that on item 10, I am pleased that there was a retained earnings in the sewer fund. There were a couple of us who took a lot of heat for kind of lobbying to keep the rate as low as we could. So I'm happy it turned out okay. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Anyone else?
No.
Awesome. On the motion. Oh, Counselor Rivera.
Thank you. I didn't want to interrupt. So I just wanted to elaborate. Also thank the mayor. And then on item 10 too as well, I appreciate that we did have some free cash, especially considering that we have different things that are happening throughout the city that could be mitigated. And I mean, it's small, but something is something. Thank you again.
Thanks.
On the motion.
Okay, on the motion, motion to pass the second reading. If you vote yes, you're voting for items 6 through, 7 through 10.
Yep.
I will call the roll. Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Givner.
Yes.
Graney.
No?
Jordan.
Yes.
McGrath Smith, not here. Murphy Ramboletti, yes. Ocasio.
Yes.
Rivera.
Yes.
Rivera.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
With that, you've passed.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilor Bissonnette.
Did we adopt the motion to adjourn?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good night.
Can't leave.